Fool Us, the show with more magic than Magic Mike, but far less impressive bodies. Instead of Channing Tatum pulling off his shirt, you'll see today's hottest illusionist trying to pull one over on the all-time legends of legerdemain. If they can do it, they'll earn a one-night stand with Penn and Teller as part of their nightly Vegas spectacular. And boy, is the talent backstage incredible. This is the only program around where, if Kanye West storms the stage, our acts can actually make him disappear. Now let's meet an act that hasn't disappeared for over 35 years. The duo who've seen it all, they've done it all, and the one who said it all, Penn and Teller. Teller, fabulous to see you. Penn, as always, great to have you. Penn and Teller, ladies and gentlemen. Gentlemen, if you'd like to take your chairs, the show can get started. Penn and Teller, ladies and gentlemen. So sit back and get ready to be amazed because it's time to meet our first magician.
My name is Blake Voigt, and I am obsessed with magic. I was a pretty socially awkward kid growing up. Most people, when they're younger, find it easy to go up and meet someone and say hi, and I found it easier to say hi, pick a card. Creeped out. Yeah. I dropped out of college to pursue working for David Copperfield in Las Vegas, and I've been making my living the last few years creating magic for television and movies. Whenever I've been working for all these other magicians, I give them all of my ideas, but this trick I'm performing tonight, I've held on to for myself for over 4 years, so I'm very excited to finally get to debut it.
Go crazy for the superbly gifted Blake Voigt.
The linking rings. None of you seem into this. Okay, how about the linking squares? Pretty cool. You can cut the music. Thank you. I don't mean to start off my performance by making fun of a classic of magic. I love the linking rings. It's one of my favorite. It's just there's a few things with it that I think could be better. And so I would like to show you guys my version of the linking rings. But instead of using those props, I'd like to use a borrowed object from someone in the audience. So if you have a $1 bill on you, either in your wallet or in your purse, if you wouldn't mind pulling it out now, that would be great. Now, I'll let you know that I'm going to be destroying your dollar bill during this trick. So I don't want you to have to pay to see a magic trick. So I'm going to trade you my bill for yours. You, sir, do you mind if I borrow your bill?
You got it.
You got it. Okay, cool. Now I have to ask you, is there anything sentimental about this bill?
Nothing.
So you don't mind if I destroy it? And then you can keep mine, but before I commit to destroying your bill, if you wouldn't mind looking at that camera right there and just say, I accept responsibility. Oh, thumbs up? Thumbs up works. Thank you so much, sir. Appreciate it. Give him a round of applause for volunteering. That's great. Now, this is a smaller trick. It's kind of a close-up trick since I can't use the big rings. So if you, Penn and Teller, wouldn't mind joining me on stage, that would be awesome. Thank you. Penn, if you wouldn't mind sitting here.
You want me in this trick?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Teller, good to see you. Please sit here. Thank you so much. Now, since this is already a unique bill, this gentleman kindly volunteered, I'm going to make it a little bit more unique by asking you guys to sign the bill. Just like that. Penn, if you wouldn't mind signing there. Thank you. And Teller, if you wouldn't mind signing on that line. Thank you so much. Now, this bill, you could argue that now is worth more than $1 with your guys' autographs on there.
At least $1.01.
Exactly. So I'm going to take this a step further now. And actually, if you thought like writing on money was illegal, I'm going to take this to the hardcore level of tearing it. This trick is intense so far, right? So I'm going to tear it right down the middle, just like this. Now, Teller, if you wouldn't mind holding on to this half for me, I'm going to have you do a few things with that half in just a moment. But first, I'm going to ask you to fold it in half. If you could go ahead and do that, that would be great. So what we're going to do is actually form the two rings for the trick instead of using the giant silver one. So we're going to tear out the center of each of these halves. So if you don't mind just tearing out a circle, leaving about a ½ inch border around the bill, and I'll do the same thing here with my half. Exactly. It's kind of like that deep. Perfect. So there we go. Get rid of my middle. Now what I'm going to do is take your half and I'm going to try to create the illusion that they're linked, if that makes any sense. So it's going to use origami and kind of misdirection and a little bit of an optical illusion. So if I hold them just straight like this, you'll see that they start to look like they're linked. But that's just an optical illusion. The origami in magic starts to look a lot better whenever you open one of the bills, and then whenever you open the other one, they really look like they're linked. Pretty cool? Now, Thank you, thank you. Now, obviously, this is just an optical illusion. You know they're not actually linked. So tell her if you mind just holding up one finger for me. Just like that, the longer you stare at the illusion, the more you start to realize that they are not actually linked. Thank you. Thank you. So I'm going to try to do this one more way, but make this different than anything you've seen before. But in order to do that, I'm going to hand you the bills in a moment. But because of the legal issues with this trick and destroying money on television, tell her I'm actually going to need you to accept responsibility for these. So Penn, if you don't mind saying into the camera, tell her accepts responsibility.
Tell her accepts responsibility for all federal crimes done within the next 2 hours. Anywhere in the USA.
Perfect. Amazing. So now that we've got that out of the way, I'm going to try this one final time for you. So you can see the two bills here, and on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. They linked. Now, what makes this link slightly different is if Teller, do you mind grabbing right here with your right hand? At this point in the trick, instead of unlinking them, you can examine everything. And that's the end of the trick. Thank you.
Great work, ladies and gentlemen. That was great. Guys, you can take those back to your seats so you can continue examining them. How good was that, ladies and gentlemen? It was out of this world. Especially bearing in mind, you have Penn and Teller, two of the keenest minds and two of the sharpest eyes in magic, staring right at what you're doing. So for you to do that in front of them, you've either got to be pretty confident about what you did or just insane.
A little bit of both, probably.
It seems an especially brave or foolhardy thing to do to let them take that away, but I guess that's part of the whole trick you're playing on them, is it?
All or nothing, I guess.
Okay, so you're being pretty crafty right now.
I'm hoping so.
Let's go to Penn now and find out what they thought. Penn, your verdict, please.
We know this guy. And we have seen the work that this guy can do with a piece of paper. We've seen things he's done, close-up tricks for us, and he has shown us afterwards how he did it. Maybe not with a lot of foresight for this show tonight.
If I would have known I would have been here, I might have handled that differently.
Because he can do anything with a piece of paper. And I'll tell you, our eyes and our fingernails are not good enough to see how you made these bills into essentially what ends up being a paper version of a locking ring, and then put in our hands. Which means not only are your hands very skillful, but you also have gonads the size of Texas. We saw a few of the things you were doing because there's no way in this trick to put in any sort of real misdirection. Because when you need to do the dirty work, we're staring at your hands.
Right.
This is just raw skill. We know what he's doing and when he's doing it, and he just does it so well that we can't see the seams. We saw the seams being made.
So they know what you're doing?
Yes, they do.
You didn't fool them?
No, I did not.
Well, you fooled the rest of us. That was an incredible performance.
He was fooling everyone in the world except for
everyone. But what a great void, ladies and gentlemen. Superb. Great job. Thank you, sir. We're going to take a break, but we will be back with more magic, including a performance by the legendary Penn and Teller, so stay close. Welcome back to Fool Us. Now, we like to think that it's a show that not only entertains, but makes you think. You can relax, however. You don't have to do too much thinking because Penn and Teller do all the heavy lifting for us. While they limber up, let's meet our next contender.
I'm Joshua J., and I'm from Ohio. When you're as crazy about magic as I am, you see everything through the lens of magic. Everything that I do, everything that I read, everything that I watch is fodder for magic tricks. The thing I love about magic is the same thing that I love about movies. So many different ways to tell a story. Alfred Hitchcock, Stephen King, many others. These people are great storytellers, and they would make great magicians. I like to try and transport the audience. I want to take them into my story and then give them this magical payoff. I feel like magic is like a game of chess between the magician and the audience. And the end game is pure entertainment, pure astonishment. To see something incredible, that's what you go for.
Now, one of the all-time magic greats, Mr. Lance Burton, said of this next performer, this kid is going places. Well, we're thrilled our stage is one of those places with a randomly selected member of our audience to help him. Will you please welcome Joshua J.
Thank you. Thank you. It's an honor to be performing here for Penn and Teller and for all of you. And it's a challenge, right? To try and fool these guys, Penn and Teller. But not as challenging as the last show I did. I was trying to fool a 7-year-old girl. You see, this girl came up to me, she wanted to see a trick, and I realized she was blind. And I thought, that's a really powerful moment, and it is a challenge. Because magic is visual, it's for the eyes. If I were gonna fool her, I'd have to fool her mind. So I'm gonna show you what I showed her with your help. Now, I can't have you pick a card if you couldn't see because you wouldn't know which card you picked. Even if I could get your hand to the deck and have you pick a card out, you wouldn't know which one you were looking at. So I've got a better way. Hold out your hand and put your other hand on top. 52 possibilities between your hands. I want you to do it like this. First, think of the number. Do you have a number?
Yep.
And now I want you to think of the suit.
Okay.
Now you have a card, a number, and a suit. And this is perfect because he knows the card in his head, but of course Penn and Teller don't know it, and none of you know it. And you all need to know the card. Now, if you whispered the card, you'd accuse me of listening. So I've got a perfect way for Todd to code the card to all of you, and you will know the card, but I won't. Here's how it works. I'll blindfold myself and I'll turn away. And when I do, what I'd like you to do, Todd, is I want you to deal the value of your card in a face-down pile. So we'll get a close-up in a second on Todd's hands. And if you thought of 3, you'll go 1, 2, 3, one by one, and put the deck on top when you're done. Deal as quietly as you can so you don't think I'm listening. I will turn away. The audience will tell me when you're done. Go ahead and go. Deal that value of your card in a face-down pile. And when you're done, put the deck on top. It's done? Now, all of you know the value of your card except for me, which is great, but you need to know the suit. So I'll turn away again, and I want you to deal the value of the suit of your card like this. If you're thinking of clubs, deal 1 down and put the deck on top. If you were thinking of hearts, do 2 cards, 1 by 1, deck on top. Spades would be 3, diamonds would be 4. Audience will tell me when you're done. Oh. Applause for dealing. I like this crowd. Okay. Now, the question is, how can I find this card? Because it's a perfect situation, right? Todd thought of the card. He never had to take it out of the deck, never had to show it around, never had to mention it. But now, how can I find a card for somebody's mind? And I'll tell you how. I'm going to go by feel. I'm going to try and feel for that card. Go by a feeling that I get. Todd, you didn't leave, did you?
No, I'm still here.
That's good. I'm going to go, ooh. I'm getting a feeling on this card. Todd, did you by any chance pick the 4 of diamonds?
That I did.
Is this card by any chance the 4 of diamonds? Thank you. But I said that this was a trick, not for the eyes, but for the mind. You see, there is no deck of cards. This is completely for your mind. I want you to look at these, make sure that they don't come apart, peel apart. This is a real deck of cards. In fact, it's my gift to you, and I thank you so very much. They're yours.
Well, let's do it again for Jocelyn Jay. Just kind of funny. That was phenomenal because I've seen a lot of card tricks.
Thank you.
But I've never seen one quite like that. Wasn't that out of this world?
Thank you very much.
And you have a lot of interest in the history of magic and the greats that have come before you.
Absolutely. My apartment is like a mad scientist's lair of magic stuff. I have Houdini's straitjacket that he used and his handcuffs and like 4,000 books because it's my life. You know, I mean, this isn't just what I do here. I'm thinking about it and reading about it constantly.
I'm assuming the straitjacket is on display. It's not used for like shades of grey moments at home, is it?
No comment on that.
So what was it? What kicked off your love of magic?
My dad showed me a trick when I was 8 years old and didn't tell me how it was done. And the not telling me how it was done part was what hooked me.
And did he ever tell you?
Never did, but I figured it out. So I had a little fool us in 8 years old in my living room.
I have my fingers crossed for you. Penn, the verdict case.
We see a lot of people come out here and do trick after trick after trick, just machine gun quality going through that we have trouble keeping track of. You did one clearly plotted trick. They used actually 4 methods that you had to use to do that. Your cards from the very beginning were not shuffled and were not handled by Jonathan. And we also thought that the move you had to do at the end was done absolutely beautifully. just gorgeous, wonderful. And I had a wonderful time.
Just so we're closer, are you saying that something was switched or changed out?
There was one moment when something was, not trying to say too much, but where something was switched. But there are 4 things that Teller can write down, and he will show them to you.
So Josh, if you take a look at what Teller's worked on.
Hi, Teller. That's not correct.
Wow.
Whoa, that's
a pretty major part of it.
I think I can say it without giving anything away. I absolutely did not do a deck switch.
You did not do a deck switch? Well, then I do know what you did do then. If you did not do a deck switch, then I think, and I didn't confer with Teller on this, but I think there's another way. I think you fooled us. That was the way you did it. If you didn't do a deck switch, you fooled us is what you did. You did it. You did beautiful.
Give me a heart attack.
You might want to give that to the young man there.
There you go, sir.
Joshua.
There you go. Beautifully done.
Thank you. Joshua J. You fooled Penn and Teller. There you go. Joshua J, ladies and gentlemen. All right, that's one successful fooler. But can lightning strike twice in one night? We'll reveal the shocking truth when we return. Welcome back to Fool Us, where magicians compete to win an all-expenses-paid trip to perform with Penn and Teller. That said, it's time to meet our next contender.
My name is Levent. I do comedy magic. My area of interest is magic within vaudeville. We're right now in David Copperfield's Museum and Library of the Conjuring Arts. Let's take a look at what some of this stuff does. I will often take an old trick and just polish it up and give it a new angle. But I'm still performing in its core the classic trick. And it's a classic for a reason, because it's good. Ventriloquism. Stuff's creepy. A modern magician learns from what magicians did in the past. So how you pay it back is you teach the magicians of the future how to do tricks. So in other words, you pay the past back by paying it forward.
Besides being an accomplished magician, our next performer is the curator of David Copperfield's Museum of Magic. So to be here tonight, either the big guy gave him the night off or he called in sick. Will you please welcome Levent?
Thank you. Thank you very much, folks. Thank you. Some scarf music, please. Here we go. 1, 2, 3 scarves go here on the chair that says the word knot. 1, 2, 3 scarves are made at my fingertips. Now I'm going to tie the corners of these 2 scarves together into a knot. Speaking of the word knot, if you look on the chair, it says the word knot, but it doesn't say the word knot. If you look on the other chair, it says the word knot, but it doesn't say the word knot. So the most important thing to remember is that you may not place the knots where it says knot. You may only place the knots where it says the word knot. So watch. 3 handkerchiefs, 2 knots go gently onto the chair like that. Now to confuse your brain cells, I remove the letter K from the word knot, and I simply place the letter K over to the word knot. Suddenly on the chair, it no longer says the word knot, it says the word knot, which means the knots are not there. You got it or not? You get it? Watch the chair. Look, each handkerchief, one at a time. 1, 2, 3 handkerchiefs. No, no. Thank you. You may have poured at will. Thank you. Thank you. Come here, Jonathan. Come here for a second. Jonathan, watch this. Can you step on the stage right here? 3 handkerchiefs, 2 knots. 3 handkerchiefs, 2 knots. I'm going to place them right down there. I'm going to remove the letter K. The word has changed. The knots are gone. Please keep each handkerchief one at a time. Thank you very much, Jonathan. Thank you. Look, folks, I'll do this one more time. But I want to remind you, this trick only works in the English-speaking world. For instance, if this was Norway, this wouldn't be the word knot. In Norwegian, it'd be the word knut. Knut, which is a sport which involves a piece of rope, a reindeer, a lit candle, and a bottle of whale oil. And it's illegal in most countries. So the trick is 1 knot. 1 knot, because the word knot is singular, it's not plural, and I don't want to get any angry grammarians coming after me. So watch. All the magic is done with the letter K. Now, how many people expected to see a 1K run? I'm not sure, but look. Boom, it goes right there. Let's see the handkerchiefs. No knot. No knot. The 1 knot has disappeared from this group of handkerchiefs, and I grab this corner here and this corner, and the handkerchiefs on the chair have tied themselves as a primary. Thank you. I'm going to get rid of half of the handkerchiefs, and I have here remaining in my fingers, we have here the blue handkerchief, the white handkerchief, and the red handkerchief. I'm going to show you each one of these handkerchiefs to be truly empty and without guile. Jonathan, please help me for just 1 moment. I'm going to pull the handkerchiefs through your hand, make sure there's no knots. See that?
No knot.
No knot. The next handkerchief, white handkerchief, pull it through your hand, no knot. And finally, the blue handkerchief, pull it through your hand, no knot. And the most difficult thing in this entire trick is hiding the bottle of wine while handling all the handkerchiefs just like that. How's it done? Got a bunny rabbit that does all the hard work. Let's give them a round of applause. Thank you very much, folks. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Fabulous. Thank you.
Very funny finish as well. That was incredible. That was as close to real magic as I think I've ever sat.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it.
It was really remarkable.
It's one of the great classic tricks of magic from vaudeville, many versions of it, and this happens to be my little version of it. I study all different kinds of magic tricks, and I try to bring back old tricks, because just because something is old doesn't mean that it's bad. Sometimes in the arts, something is old and it's good. We call it a classic.
Yeah.
And I consider this trick a classic.
Let's see if the guys are getting close. Penn?
You know, you do the classic stuff, but I don't think that gives you enough credit, because you talked about that being vaudeville stuff. That is the Sympathetic Silks, and it is a classic of magic and one that we're aware of, we study, but you always add stuff to it. I don't mean just the comedy. There's also little wrinkles that made this a brain buster in a few places. I think that there is a lot of sleight of hand in here, and then the wonderful thing in there, and we love when you do this. The best thing you can do in magic is to use multiple methods to accomplish the same thing, and there is something mechanical in there. I don't want to say any more than that, but it's not all sleight of hand. So some of it's real clean sleight of hand, some of it's mechanical. You put those two together, you really, really do blow minds, which you did. We happened to see a couple of the loads that we knew were going to be coming in, because we knew we were coming. Because that's the bad part of doing classic magic, is we know the rhythms and know where we're going. We just loved it, but I do think we have a pretty good idea how you did it, as much as we loved it.
Well, I appreciate it. Thank you very much. Thank
You know, I think the sign that, and you're happy then, you're convinced that they do know, they busted you, that you didn't fool them.
I mean, I'm using sleight of hand. There's no way, you can't get away from that. I'm using sleight of hand.
And it's beautiful.
But I think you're not just a sleight of hand artist, you're probably the best, I think, because that was, the thing about a true professional is they make it look so easy, you can't believe anything's going on. And that was faultless, wasn't it, ladies and gentlemen? Just remarkable and beautiful to watch. Levent, ladies and gentlemen, the fabulous Levent.
Thank you.
For my next trick, I'm about to show you a few 30-second images. You tell me what products I want to make you buy when we come back. Well, it's been an eventful night here on Fool Us. One magician has already taken down the mighty Penn and Teller. Let's see if lightning can strike twice as we meet our next contender.
My name is Ben Seidman. I do magic tricks, and I live in Los Angeles. I wanted to play in a band for years. I love playing music, and I also love acting. I was an actor growing up. And so I decided eventually there are three things that I love. I have to choose one passion. So I chose magic, and I really do love what I do. The hardest part about it is the travel. Last year I did more than 200 shows, so I was on the road about 95% of the year. There was a week this month where I didn't sleep more than 2 hours a night. It was just do a show, get on a plane, drive, do a show, repeat. Everywhere I've gone in my life, I've moved to get better at magic. I've always been chasing this high, and I wouldn't trade it for the world.
I've got some good news for you guys. I'm going to bring out an artiste from the world of burlesque for you. The bad news is it's a guy and he left his feathers at home. Here he is, dressed in a shirt and jacket as nature intended. It's Ben Seidman.
Thank you. I feel the same way about you. It's nice to be in Las Vegas filming a TV show. Proof that what happens in Vegas gets broadcast nationally, apparently. Penn, I've got one playing card. Name a card, Penn. Anyone.
4 hearts.
It would have fooled you, but I'll move on as planned. I used to live here. I lived in Vegas for like 5 years, and this actually happened to me. I was walking downtown, and I see a guy. He has a manila envelope, and he's jingling it, asking people for change. And I walked by him. I was just kind of in a hurry. And he yelled at me. He actually yelled. He was like, "Hey, aren't you going to give me any money? What, are you not a good Christian?" No, I'm not. I'm Jewish. I'm not even good at that. I mean, I was raised Jewish, but I don't really practice. So I'm Jewish, but I don't practice, which means that my mom still nags me. But when I pray that she'll stop, nothing happens. That was a thinking joke. Thanks for coming along with me. But it's true. Jews are the worst Christians. Except for one. One became the best. It's not me, though. That's Jesus. I'm Ben Seidman. Different people altogether. Yeah. Maybe, just maybe you're applauding because you think I am Jesus. And maybe I am. How would you know? What if Jesus came back, but no one believed him? So he went on TV and tried to fool Penn and Teller? But he wasn't successful? Penn was like, yeah, that's food coloring and water, not wine. And Teller was like, that would be disappointing for religious people and for atheists. But for very different reasons. Anyway, I see this guy, he yells at me, and I wanted to get mad, but in that moment, our eyes met, and we had this real human moment. And I just started to feel bad for him. He was clearly a nice guy. He was down on his luck. And I reached in my pocket. I took my wallet out. I gave him the only bill that I had, which was a $100 bill, because I felt bad for him. And he hugged me. He was so overjoyed. And I walked away. I thought, what a nice guy. I completely misjudged him. How long was I talking to him? And I looked down at my watch, and my watch was gone. I don't know how, but this guy must have somehow managed to pull my watch off without me even feeling him do it. So he took my watch. Not only did he take my watch, I also distinctly remember putting my ring on that day. When I looked down at my finger, my ring was gone. So I'm thinking he took my watch, and he also, somehow, managed to take my ring. And I reached in my pocket, grabbed my wallet, remembered I'd given this guy the only bill that I had, the $100 bill, because I felt bad for him. So I'm walking away. I'm just trying to process the information. I'm thinking, did that really just happen? He took everything from me. He took my ring, took my watch. He took all of my money. Sounds like I had a pretty terrible day, right? He learned a very valuable lesson that day. He learned that you should never, ever try to steal from a magician. Because when this guy got home, he didn't have any of my stuff at all. Because I still had my ring, I still had my watch, and I still had all of my money.
Ben Seidman, ladies and gentlemen. Great job. Very funny and a great trick as well. That was great, Ben.
Thanks, Jonathan.
Now, you know how this works. The guys are going to sit there and they're going to deliberate and we'll have a little chat out here.
But Jonathan, I hope you wouldn't mind, would you?
A selfie?
Yeah.
Sure,
Thanks.
let's do that.
I've always wanted to take a picture of Penn and Teller while my arm was around you.
Okay, let's...
Thanks.
Should we hug this out?
Yeah, sure.
I enjoyed that too.
It was a really good moment.
Yeah. How confident are you?
Oh, you know what? They're my heroes. They're some of my favorite magicians growing up. So I don't know. I respect them so much. If they enjoyed what I do, that's what means the most to me.
Well, one thing I noticed, and I'm sure everyone else did, is just how confident you seemed out here. And I know that performing in front of these guys, it's nerve-wracking for most people, but you seem cool and calm as a cucumber.
Oh, I'm freaking out on the inside.
Well, you're disguising it very well. Let's find out how much they know genuinely right now. Fellas, did you think you got it?
We see a lot of people who try to cobble something together, and watching you do something that's just a polished, finished routine is wonderful. And you might notice when I say wonderful that I'm kind of underlining the wonder part of the wonderful, because we all know a wonderful magician named Tommy Wonder. And you know that Tommy Wonder did a routine called the Hold Up. I much prefer your version to Tommy Wonder's version, because Tommy Wonder did not have the... his style of comedy was not as close to my heart as yours is. But I think that's a wonderful routine you're going to want to do forever. Don't really want to tear it apart.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, guys.
It's wonderful.
It's been a pleasure.
So let me check, Ben. I want to check. As Penn elaborated, you're fairly confident now he knows what was going on.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Can I just check? You're not actually Jesus, though, are you? Well, ladies and gentlemen, let's call him by his current name, the fabulous Ben Seidman. Great job. Thank you, Ben. Fabulous. Ben Seidman. Okay, it's time to catch our breath, but when we come back, we may be left breathless after a trick from our very own Penn and Teller, so don't go away, ladies and gentlemen. In all their time together, they have invented, reinvented, refined, and redefined magic as we know it, while entertaining millions over the last 40 years. They're still doing it better than ever. Here they are, the fabulous Penn and Teller.
There's a kind of magic called gospel magic. And gospel magicians use magic tricks to proselytize. Now, in 1948, there was a country western hit by Tex Ritter called The Soldier's Deck of Cards. And the story of that song is that a soldier is caught in church with a deck of cards, and his commanding officer says to be court-martialed for having gambling apparatus in church. So we're going to do an answer song to A Soldier's Deck of Cards, giving us an opportunity to proselytize a little bit. You all set? A while ago, Tell and I were sitting in the front row of the lecture of the theoretical physicist Lawrence Krauss. Suddenly, Krauss looked down and said, "Teller, you've been fiddling with that deck of cards since I began speaking. Do you find me so dull that you have to amuse yourself with trivial tricks and manipulations?" Teller stood up and addressed Lawrence and the entire audience. "Not at all, Dr. Krauss," Teller began. "I'm listening to every word you say. I don't carry a pad of paper or a cell phone, but as a magician, I always have a deck of cards with me. I use that deck and my knowledge of magic to take notes. Please allow me to recap what you've covered so far," and Teller fanned the cards out. "You know, Lawrence, you're a very well-known atheist. As I look over the faces of the cards, I notice there's no God among them. The universe of my deck, like the universe of your speech, contains kings, queens, millions of number combinations, and, well, even a couple of jokers, but no God to be found." Teller motioned, Professor, and Lawrence Krauss, he stood up right there in the audience. Teller explained that he would riffle down the deck, and the professor should yell, "Stop!" to select a random particle from the universe of Teller's deck. Well, Teller riffled, Professor yelled. Teller showed the card to the professor and to the entire audience. It was the three of clubs that we all promised ourselves we'd remember it. Teller returned the card to the deck and handed the deck to Lawrence to shuffle. Teller took the fully shuffled cards back to the professor and took a quick look at the random order of the faces. You know, every random order contains some intrinsic qualities. The four aces always remind me of the four fundamental interactions in nature. The ace of diamonds, that reminds me of electromagnetism. And electromagnetism is a force responsible for practically all the phenomena encountered in daily life. Ordinary matter takes its form as a result of molecular forces between individual molecules. The ace of diamonds, electromagnetism, that holds our world together. The other force encountered in daily life is gravity, the ace of hearts, which individual particles attract with a force proportional to their masses. And that leaves the strong interaction, the weak interaction. Well, the strong force, to me, that's the ace of spades, and that bonds protons and neutrons together in the nucleus of the atom. And that leaves the good old weak force, the ace of clubs, which is responsible for radioactive decay of the nuclei and hydrogen fusion of the stars. Now, someday there may be an accepted unified field theory, and all these cards will be of one suit. But until then, the four suits remind me of the four fundamental interactions in nature. And with that, Teller had thrown most of the cards in the audience. He said these few cards remaining remind me of the cosmological constant. Oh, it's an amazing constant. Even as space gets bigger, the energy density remains the same. Let's measure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're trying to change that density by throwing out 1, 2, 3 cards. The energy density would still remains 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and it keeps working, you know. I can throw out 1, 2, 3 cards, still have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's counterintuitive. How can that be to throw 1, 2, 3 cards, still have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6? Yeah? How can you just throw out 1, 2, 3 cards, still have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6? I can do this forever, man. Draw 1, 2, 3 cards, still have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now, to do this trick with cards, I need sleight of hand. but the cosmological constant is really the way energy, density, and the universe works. And more amazingly, fiction or magic. He pulled out a balloon. He began blowing it up to explain. This brings us to the forefront of science, the Higgs boson. Now, the theory was the particles only have mass because of an unmeasured theoretical field that they move through. This may seem like an invisible god, but the difference is it can be tested. The Large Hadron Collider tested it, and it sure looked like the predicted Higgs lasted for a billionth of a second before going off and leaving behind the telltale signature of our freely selected 3 of clubs, which lasted just long as we measured before vanishing. Kelly took a breath. He said, "Let my hands represent quantum nothingness." Professor Lawrence Krauss looked, and he said, "Tell her, please, just sit down."